Well, joining us now, the new Alamogordo girls head basketball coach, someone that's very familiar with the area, Coach Manny Vigil. Coach, how are you doing today?
Oh, good. Thanks for having us.
Happy to have you here. If you want to introduce the folks that you brought with you today.
Okay, our varsity assistant coach, Shannon Vigil, former head coach of Valencia High School, Calysta Jacob, Alyssa Madden. Calysta is going to be a sophomore this year, and Allyssa will be a junior this year for our team.
All right, fantastic. Well, you're an Alamogordo native, right? You graduated from Alamogordo High School, is that right?
Yes, sir.
1995?
1995. I didn't want to say the date. Show my age.
Was it the fact of, because you had a lot of success up at Valencia High School. Was it the fact of coming back to Alamogordo that made you want to take this job? Or what was it that coming to Alamogordo that made you interested in coming here?
That was the number one reason, was to come back home. And we have two little girls, and we just wanted to bring them. I know this area would be comfortable raising our kids here, and I also did a little research and background on the team that I would be coaching, and obviously I wasn't hesitant to take it at all. There was no question.
Yeah, it's going to be a group that has some varsity experience from last year, but it's definitely a group that's turned over a little bit. I know you didn't get a whole lot of time to work with them during the summer. You came in, first or second week of July, was it?
Yeah, it was, when did we come? It was the second week of July, you're right.
It's probably been a bit of a whirlwind for you guys.
We were driving back and forth on those days, up back to Los Lunas and back down to work with them, but it was worth it. It's definitely a young group, but there's a lot of fight and desire I already saw with the group that's been coming consistently, so pretty excited to work with them.
Yeah, Coach, interesting dynamic between you two. Obviously you were the head coach first at Valencia, then he took over, and you don't see a ton of husband-wife pairs. You do see it sometimes, but talk about the dynamic in the coaching between you two.
Well, I was the head coach first, and then I was pregnant, and I can't be screaming, getting my blood pressure, so we just switched, and it's nice to take a back seat and be an assistant, not have to deal with some of that stuff. But I kind of do like the paperwork, keep them organized, and we have the, I guess, positive aspect of going home and still talking about it. So there's a lot more game planning with that.
Yeah, good working relationship, though. It obviously works out well for you guys if you continue to work together, right?
Right.
Yeah, it's been 10 years now.
10 years and we're still together, so.
There you go. That's what you like to hear. Well, let's talk to these ladies. We'll start with Alyssa Madden. I know Alyssa's so excited to get up there on the microphone. Bring that a little bit closer to you. There you go. Scoot up a little bit on that. Alyssa, we've obviously seen you in a lot of different sports, active in Tiger Athletics, and we got to see portions of you out there last year on the varsity squad. Yeah. What do you feel like you learned from your time playing varsity last year that'll get you ready for this year? Probably in a leadership role, right?
Yeah, definitely the leadership role and how different it is from playing JV and freshman to playing varsity, and the girls and how much stronger and quicker they are than anything. So
that's something that I don't think enough people appreciate, is the jump from even just JV to varsity. There's a huge difference, right?
It's a big difference. The game is a lot faster, too, so it's a lot different.
Yeah. And I saw that, you on Twitter, you first day after practice, you were real excited. We posted a picture that Coach Perry sent to me up on Facebook and Twitter, and you right away were like, man, I'm so excited for the start of the season. So obviously you're excited with Coach Vigil and Coach Vigil to begin the start of the season, right?
Yes, definitely. They make us work a lot harder, and we're just ready. We're ready to work and ready to win. So,
Calysta, we've seen you out there as an 8th grader and as a freshman, and now going to be out there as a sophomore. Obviously, a little bit more playing time possibly this year. What are you looking forward to most? Obviously, we're still a few months away from the season beginning, but I got to imagine the summer has got you excited for the beginning of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, real excited about it.
Yeah.
Tell me what did you feel like? What did you take away from the summer experience with Coach Vigil?
It's just a lot different. We learned a lot more. It's only been 8 practices.
Yeah. And what were the things that you guys were working on? Obviously, you probably couldn't get into too much with such limited time, but what were some of the things that you guys started working on?
A lot of ball handling and shooting.
Yeah.
Just working as a team.
Okay.
What we needed.
Kind of the fundamentals were you working on earlier?
we're just working on passing and catching and handling the ball, that type of stuff, shooting obviously, but we haven't had any time to implement any of our system or anything. We're just gonna do it as we go. But they're competitive kids, and we're just gonna learn to play defense correctly to buy us some time to catch up on the offensive end. But I'm not worried. It's just a matter of time with them. It's a good group.
Is it just not having enough practice? Is that going to be the biggest challenge with the lack of a summer for you guys?
Yes, and most of them will play fall sports, which is good. But so we won't get them back till like the second week of November, probably, maybe first. And we already have a game scheduled right now on the 15th, so we won't have any time to put in. But like I said, we'll just figure it out as we go. But I know this team is going to be down there and down the stretch. And I've seen plenty of teams now in the years, and we're just going to get them all working together and working hard. And probably the big thing with them mentally right now is just learning to get over mistakes and understand mistakes are going to happen, and it's okay, and just to move on to the next play. And once they get that in their brain, they'll be more consistent.
All right. Coach, what did you take away? What did you see from the girls, talent-wise, skill-wise, in the limited amount of time that you got to work with them?
There's a lot of talent there, parts and pieces. There was a huge improvement from the first day that we saw them to yesterday? So that's just going to carry into season. It's going to be a little rough at first, a little slow start, but again, toward January, February, that district is when it's going to start coming together.
All right, that's what we like to hear. Coaching philosophy, coaching style. What do you? Do you just base it on what you've got for that team that year, or is there something you really like to focus on? You like to see the girls execute in your years in coaching?
I pretty much keep the defense consistent, and we'll just make sure we try to play defense this way. There's not a whole lot of skill and talent needed for defense. It's just hard work. So you got to get them to learn the hard work, but offensively. We'll just adapt to how the players play and kind of their strengths and needs, and then we'll develop our offensive that way. And we got a lot of inside-outside parts in this team already, I can tell, so we'll be able to have a variety of things we can do this year.
Yeah, and it seems like, regardless of the fact that there were a lot of seniors who graduated last year, there were a lot of kids that, Alyssa, it seemed like a lot of different players got time last year. When you look at players like Daniela, Shelby got some time at certain points last year, and I'm sure there's some other players that I'm not mentioning right now, but and you're welcome to help me out on that, and some other ladies that you think will have an impact for this team this year. But do you think this group has the ability to have some success just from what who is coming this year?
I do think we'll have a lot of success with. We want to work hard, and we're ready to win and go. Just go all out every time we play. And we're young, so we're fast. We're ready.
Yeah, Calysta. The youth part of it, is that something that you guys even care about or worry about, or you're just out there to play hard?
We're just out here to play hard. We don't really care about our age or anything, because we have a lot of talent already. We're already really young, so it's only gonna get better.
All right.
Yeah, and that core group we saw this summer, we have Shanice in the inside. Ayana can do some things, so there's parts and pieces.
Faith, pretty impressive with the shooting ability. So even some of the pieces you've mentioned that I haven't seen, already what we have seen, we can work with.
That's good. Yeah, and like I said, there are certainly some other ones. If there are some other names that, and I'm sure that there's JV kids that we haven't seen at the varsity level that I'm sure are going to get out there. And did you like the turnout in the summer? Do you feel like you got a decent amount of kids, or would I'm sure you want to see as many as you possibly can, right?
Yeah, you always want to see more, but I don't ever worry about who's not there. I just focus on who's there. So there was about 20, 18 to 20.
That's good.
Was a pretty typical number. So there was a core 11 or 12 that was there every time. So I just focus on those who are there.
Yeah, you can't control the other stuff. So that's kind of how it goes. What do you expect out of your players? I'm sure you've talked to them about that, throughout the short time that you had. What's the big thing that you expect out of them when they show up to practice, when they show up to games? What are you looking for them?
Number one, think about the others, the team, before they think of themselves. So that's the number one thing we're going to work on. To be more accountable, to hold themselves more accountable, not just the team, it's easy to point the finger, but we got to get the finger pointed at ourselves. And when we can do that, then the team grows. And so it's going to be more team. They're going to hear that all the time. And once we get the more selfless thinking happening, then the team stuff falls into place. And then usually the winning comes with that.
Is that something that, you guys really took away from the practices, that the selflessness, that everybody's all in this together? Are you feeling that camaraderie?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's good. That's what we like to hear. And is this a group that you feel like is getting along well, Allyssa? This is a group that seems to have good chemistry, just from what you've seen so far?
So we definitely get along, and we're always hanging out. We're always together. So the chemistry, it'll come on the court, and it'll be there.
Calysta, for you played basketball your whole life probably. How important is it for a team to be able to get along like that for you guys to be successful?
That's probably the number one thing you need on the court. It's for you to have chemistry and stuff. If you can't get along outside the court, you really aren't a team.
Yeah.
And that's something we've seen coming here is, they'll go hang out afterwards.
We're not used to that.
We're not used to that at all. It was everyone, every direction, but they get along and they hang out, so that's going to be a plus.
Kind of a nice change of pace.
That's how we grew up.
Yeah.
And then we've been coaching for 10 years. We didn't see it, so it was weird. And then we come back, and now it's like, that's normal. That's what it's supposed to be like.
Yeah. And for you, coaching and I'm sure playing, and how important was that for you in seeing that kind of thing, that the players genuinely liked each other and it wasn't just, we got to get through practice? Yeah,
it's a huge positive. It'll show on the court. I can't imagine not being friends off the court, so
yeah, it's hard to pass the ball to that other person when you're thinking of
right.
negative things, things like that. Definitely makes a bit of a challenge there, that's for sure. Are you guys finding it nerve-wracking at all, the fact that you're going to look to be leaders going into this year, or are you kind of relishing that part of it, Allyssa?
I don't know. Sometimes it's kind of nerve-wracking to have that weight on your shoulders, but then again, I like it, and I like to push the team harder and to be there for them, and it's just, yeah.
Yeah. Calysta, do you view yourself the need to be a leader? Are you going to be a vocal person, or are you kind of one that shows by example? How do you view your style out there on the court?
I definitely am vocal. I'm not going to lie. I help them out. They need it. If they ask me, I'm always there. I played on varsity last year, so they kind of know me and Alyssa, we've been there.
Yeah. And I get the feeling you're a little bit of no nonsense out there on the court. Would that be fair? A little bit? Nobody gets hurt feelings, though, I'm hoping. No? Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Hurt feelings are okay, though, right? Because everybody seems to get over those, and it means that there's a passion within the players, right?
Yeah, there's a balance, and we got to find the balance. So
I think that ties into them being close off the court. They can get on each other a little more and tell them when they're doing bad or they need to pick it up. And
you like to see that from players, and when it's just the coach that's out there yelling, it makes a big difference when the players are getting into it too, right?
Yep, we definitely want them out there coaching because they're the ones playing. It's a fast game with lots of decisions, and so we got to just get them to that point where they can be comfortable making the decisions and helping each other with the decisions.
You guys have been in 5A for, Valencia's been there forever. Alamogordo making the switch to 5A. What can you tell us about the challenges of 5A basketball? Boy, I tell you, the best games that I saw at the VFW for a few years were between Valencia and Los Lunas. That was a rivalry. Those were some great games down here. There's a lot of good basketball teams in 5A, right?
Yeah, the 5A girls especially. I think people need to be careful here because, again, I'm from here, and so I hear a lot of things. I think there's a mentality of, Alamogordo's going from 6A to 5A. Just be careful. The top 8 girls 5A teams can compete with the top 8 girls 6A teams any day. And so we're just trying to make sure we're going to get to that mix. And just with some time we can get to that mix, but it's going to be competitive. I know the teams right now at the top of my head. I can probably tell you the teams, with De La Cerda down at Roswell. Gallup will probably be in the mix, but I'm hearing there is a coaching change, which I just found out just a couple hours ago. So Los Lunas, Valencia, the team I left, with all their seniors back, are going to be a top team. And then Espanola, obviously, are up there. But we got to get our team in that mix. But any of those teams can compete with the 6A teams. Cibola probably is the the team of the teams. And so other than that, pretty much you're looking at pretty even with the 5A and 6A.
Yeah, we got to see a lot of Cibola.
Yeah. So at least we're pretty familiar with all the teams and their coaches and their styles. So that will help us in the long run.
The fact that you guys have been so successful at Valencia High School, the players can see, hey, listen, you guys, you've had the success, that what it takes to win at the 5A level. Do you think that'll help you in terms of being able to get things across to the kids, or is that something that guys don't really focus on? Or how would you view that, the fact that you come in with a resume of some success?
I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure. I haven't really thought of it. That's a good question. That might be something the girls can answer better, but I don't know. I think they see it, but I'm not really sure.
Kind of hard to tell again with a little time in there.
With a little time, but I think that's more of a question that they...
knowing that they've had the success at the 5A level, you guys are going to that 5A level, and that it kind of helps when you definitely feel like you know what the coaches are talking about. Obviously players buy into it regardless, but I have to think that's a little bit of an extra positive in there. Would you see it that way?
I think so. I think it helped us to put our trust in them a little bit more and to buy into their program and how they coach and how they do things, even though it's different from what we were learning and stuff like that. So we definitely bought into it with how good their records and stuff were.
Yeah.
That was definitely something we looked into. Before we even knew that we were looking them up, we looked up their record and stuff, and that just made us more excited to meet them and stuff. So yeah, it definitely brought in something.
Right. Calysta, where do you feel like your game is at going head into the season? Do you feel like there's some places you've gotten some better at, or?
Yeah, actually, I learned a lot just from them being here. My ball handlings has gotten a lot better just from them. We never really did anything with ball handling, so our ball handling was not too good, but it's already getting better. So.
All right, Allyssa, how about you? Where do you feel like your game is heading in the new season?
Good. Definitely, my ball handling has gotten a lot better. My shooting is getting a lot better than it was, so more consistent, hopefully, throughout the season.
I don't know how much of you guys like to play the expectations game. If that's something you don't really like to talk about, is it just focusing on what each player is doing out there, or do you guys worry about, hey, we want to win district, we want to compete at state? What's been your view when you talk about those kind of things?
I like expectations.
Yeah.
I like them to have them. I want to play in the pit, and I want to play with them this year and with this group. So I've been telling them we're going to figure out how to get through this learning curve at the beginning, since I just don't have any time with them. But we'll figure it out. We'll get through, and I expect to be there. And in the end, this year, a lot of people are saying, there's no seniors, you'll get them back and you guys get rolling, but I don't want to wait.
That's what we like to hear. How important are expectations for a team, for you? Is that something that you guys have really focused on at all, or?
I want to be a little more realistic in saying this year's going to be, learning curve, but then you go into our district and definitely we can be district champions, and then you want to carry that over. We're going to be at the pit. We've never not been there, so why change it now? And we have the parts and the athletes, so.
Do you like the underdog role for this team a little bit? Maybe a little bit of chip on your shoulder. You guys like that? Yeah, a little bit. No, okay. Maybe not viewing it that way. Okay, is that any way that you kind of feel?
Our schedule is brutal.
Yeah,
it's brutal. That November is it's already 7 games scheduled in November, and so we're trying to work on it, but there's going to be some tough games early in January and November and December, so it might be more of an underdog type role, but which is okay. I think the other coaches and teams know that we're coming to. They know us, and they know what we do and how we do things too. So they're probably gonna have their teams, ready.
Yeah,
because they know we're coming.
Yeah. And how? Lastly, as somebody that's from here, how special would it be for you to be able to get this team back to the pit? It's been, I think, about 10 years since Alamogordo girls basketball has played in the pit. To make that happen, what would that mean for you as a coach?
It means everything, and it's not just the pit. It's a mentality that used to be in this town, and it was everybody throws around Tiger Pride, but if you really stop and think what that means, it's a little different, and I want to bring it back with the girls, and I know Coach Shock with the boys can do the same thing, and so it's more for a town. It's not just getting to the pit this year, but it's more trying to regenerate that feeling, because we want Alamogordo to be a mecca in basketball, and they used to be the big pride with the basketball team, and other teams saw Alamogordo on the schedule and they're like, oh great, and we got to get that back, and that's more of my goal for the community. So I would love to give back to the community, because that's what was instilled in me growing up here, and I'd like to bring that back.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I mean, I can say that from growing up here as well, and it's, even within the last 10 years, it's different. I mean, but hopefully it seems like we got a lot of great coaches in the mix now, and you guys are certainly a part of that as well. And I know the players will be excited for the season. Alyssa, you're doing volleyball in the fall, right?
Yes.
Calysta, you got fall stuff going on, or just getting ready for basketball? You don't know yet, so you're still deciding?
Yes.
Okay, I won't pin you down. I won't make you make a decision. All right, very good. Well, we certainly are glad to have you all here, and we're looking forward to girls basketball coming up in November. It'll be a whole lot of fun, and coaches, congratulations on getting the job, and we'll look forward to it.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.